Hello friends, welcome to the world of quantitative techniques. Today we will be discussing about the introduction, concept, role, scope of models in business and industry. You will have an idea how quantitative techniques play a vital role in understanding complex phenomena of business by converting qualitative information into measurable and quantifiable data. By employing mathematical and statistical methods, one can get a systematic framework for problem solving and decision making in situations where numerical data is available or can be collected. These techniques help in collection, organization, analysis, and interpretation of data, allowing researchers and managers to derive meaningful insights and draw reliable conclusions. But first, let's understand what exactly is a business model. A term of business model refers to a company's plan for making profit. It identifies the product or the services the business plans to sell. It identifies target market and any anticipated expenses. Business models are important for both new and established businesses. They help new developing companies attract investment, recruit talent, and motivate management and staff. Established businesses should regularly update their business model or they will fail to anticipate trends and challenges ahead. So if I just give a brief, a business model is a company's core strategy for profitably doing business. As you can see, I'm highlighting a few points which can be useful to you. The models generally include information like plans to sell, target markets, or any anticipated expenses. Now, there are dozens of business types of models, including for retailers, manufacturers, fee for service, or freemium providers. The two levelers of business models are majorly for your pricing or the cost. When evaluating a business model and an investor, one should always consider whether the product being offered matches the true need of the market. That is what is actually required, because when we talk about any business model, whether it's statistically or not, we must actually match the requirement why the business model is made. As we have understood the concept of business model, let's now switch to the area of quantitative techniques. We know that quantitative techniques offer several advantages and are widely used in diverse fields. So let's basically discuss the importance of quantitative techniques. The first one is objectivity. Quantitative techniques provide an objective and unbiased approach for decision making. So why it is called objectivity? Because it is actually providing the unbiased approach. These techniques help to eliminate any sort of personal biasness and subjective opinions. That is why it is called as objectivity. The second most important of quantitative techniques is the precision. They help to enable precise measurement and analysis of data. The more precision, it's the better the models are there. Then they are also helping the efficiency. These techniques provide efficient methods for data collection, analysis, and interpretation. So your data collection, analysis, and finally your interpretation. So these three are the key areas where objectivity or precision or efficiency is mattering. Then reflectability. Now, by using standardized methods and statistical tests, researchers or managers can replicate experiments and validate the results, ensuring the reliability of findings. For example, if I have a model development, like for example, I have to check for the quality. and I just take one sample, and if a quality manager wants to check the sample or say the quality of any one product, and he wants to he cannot be just easily go with just one sample, so he has to have multiple samples. Now when he takes multiple samples, they are trying to replicate the same issue, and they are trying to validate the results whether to ensure that the findings are reliable or not. So replicability actually helps in ensuring of the reliability of the model. Next we have the most important, that is decision support. Decision models, optimization techniques, forecasting methods helps managers and policy makers make informed decisions and evaluate alternative courses of action. So as we proceed with this work, there are various types of quantitative techniques which can be used in research or maybe by management for decision making, and let's go to the next slide. So to name a few, there are certain types of quantitative techniques. The first and the most common work is your descriptive statistics. So when I say descriptive, they are trying to describe something. So descriptive statistics involves summarization, presentation of data using measures such as your mean, median, mode, variance, standard deviation, etc. So they are trying to summarize the data to get the results. The next one is inferential. So as the name says, it is talking about certain kind of inferences being made. So inferential data are used to make inferences and draw conclusions about populations based on a sample. Techniques such as hypothesis testing, confidence intervals, regression analysis, and are basically employed to estimate the population parameters and to test the research hypothesis. So what exactly being done is that there are certain kind of samples are being taken, and we are trying to take inferences to make information about the population. We all are well aware that sample is a part and population is the entire or the whole. So the sampling is used to give the information, or you can say the reference or the inference about the complete population. So inferential statistics is actually doing the same thing. Next, we all are well aware about the name of data mining. It involves the extraction of patterns, relationships from large data sets. So what exactly is happening? They are actually doing the extractions of the patterns. Techniques such as clustering is there, right? Then we have classification. Then we have associations. So these are a few techniques or the analysis portions that are used to discover hidden patterns to make predictions or classifications based on the historical data. Then operations research, or most commonly used as called as the OR. Research utilizes mathematical models and optimization techniques to optimize resource allocation and decision making. Linear programming, integer programming, network analysis, queuing theory, transportation problem, assignment allocations, they are the few examples of operations research technique which are actually very commonly used in industry also. When we move further, forecasting, the main aim is to earn profit, and we must have a valuable forecasting. So the forecasting techniques that are used to predict future values or trends based on the historical data. So we have time series analysis, regression analysis, exponential smoothing. They are actually commonly employed for the forecasting of the sales, demand, stock prices, and other variables. So forecasting is basically to predict the future, to tell about the future, and as I told, they involve the techniques of time series, regression, etc. The next most important is the simulation. Simulation means actually, to simulate something, which means they are involving of creation of a computer-based model or a real system or maybe a process to understand the behavior and make predictions. Monte Carlo simulation, discrete event simulation, system dynamics are widely used for the simulation techniques. Then, as we are discussing about business modeling, so obviously decision making is quite important, and it provides a structured approach, because this kind of analysis is actually talking about decision making, maybe under uncertainty, maybe under risk, maybe under, when you are not clear about it. So we have techniques like decision trees, they are there, where the trees are made. We have decision trees, we have expected value analysis, EVAs, we have sensitivity analysis, help to evaluate alternate courses of action and to assess the potential outcomes. Since now we have learned about the areas where we can use, or the types we can use. So now let's find the applications where quantitative techniques can find different domains. To begin with, we have business and finance, we have economics, social sciences, engineering, healthcare, environmental sciences, they are the name of few. So as you can see that it has a wide variety and a wide range where we can apply the concepts of quantitative techniques. So when I start with business and finance, quantitative techniques are extensively used in business and finance for financial analysis, for investment decision making, for risk management, for portfolio optimization, for marketing research and demand forecasting, to name a few. If I extend it to the area of economics, QT plays a crucial role in economic analysis also. Modeling, policy formulation, they are also used as for economic indicators. Forecasting, obviously we have discussed about it, forecasting of the economic trends, demand and supply estimation, evaluation of the impact of the policies. These are a few examples when we say about economics. Now when we proceed to social sciences, in social sciences the quantitative techniques are employed for areas like survey research, opinion polls, demographic analysis, social network analysis and statistical inferences. So what exactly it is helping? It is helping to understand. So what they are doing is they are trying to understand the social phenomena, measuring the public opinion. So from public opinion they are trying to quantify, right? Opinion, they are trying to quantify and identify the patterns in the social networks. Now for engineering, we may get confused ki bhai this is management and that is engineering. Yes, it is also important for engineering also. Quant can be used in engineering for processes optimization, quality control, reliability analysis, system design, project management, to name a few. And the techniques like Six Sigma, SPC, statistical process control, etc. for quality, they can be used in other optimization models, helps engineers to improve the efficiency. So in engineering, we can use for the efficiency plus the quality of the product. In healthcare, the quant techniques are employed by medical researchers, clinical trials, health economics, healthcare management, even epidemiological studies. These techniques help to analyze for the patient data, evaluating treatment effectiveness and optimizing resource allocation. Finally, when we say about environmental sciences, quantitative techniques are used in environmental science for data analysis, modeling, environmental process and predicting the impact of human activities on the environment. Techniques like environmental modeling, GIS, that is the Geographic Information System, EMS, that is the environmental modeling, remote sensing, these all are actually used, they actually act as an aid for environmental modeling and decision making. So as per the discussions we have made, we are clear that quantitative techniques offer numerous benefits. But to every benefit, to every scope, there are certain limitations and challenges also. So let's understand the challenges and the limitations faced when we have quantitative techniques application. Now, The effectiveness of the quantitative techniques relies on the availability and the quality of the data. Inaccurate or incomplete data can lead to the biased results and erroneous conclusions. So data availability, what kind of data is available, what kind of quality is available, this is actually going to affect the quantitative techniques to the maximum. Also, when we talk about reliability, quantitative techniques often require making assumptions and simplifications to develop the mathematical models. Now, these assumptions may not always hold true in real world situations, affecting the validity and reliability of the analysis. So, this is a limitation that is faced because for all we cannot apply, and obviously it cannot be true for all because we always assume certain things in quantitative techniques. Now, when we discuss about the human factors, there are certain factors like emotions, cultural influences, cognitive biasness. Obviously they are not, may not be adequately reflected in the quantitative models, but they limit their explanatory power. So quantitative model cannot capture all the complexities of human behavior and decision makings. Now, one of the most important things to be remembered is the use of quantitative techniques that raises ethical considerations related to privacy. We all are very clear about privacy, then your confidentiality, your data protection. We all actually, working on it day and night, that it has to be safe and everything. So what is actually happening, since the data is involved there, since data is involved, so we have QT involved here. So it is essential that during the business model, one needs to ensure that data collection analysis comply with the ethical standards and the regulations to ensure your privacy, your confidentiality, your data protection. Right? And now the finally note on interpretation and communication. Quantitative analysis often produces numerical outputs that require interpretation and communication to the stakeholders. So presenting statistical findings in a clear and a meaningful way can be, challenging. And thus misinterpretation of the results may lead to inappropriate decisions. So interpretation also have to be kept in mind, right? So till now we have discussed about the areas, the limitations, the uses. Let's discuss about the application. This is an extension of what we have done. So quantitative techniques play a crucial role in management across various domains. They provide managers with analytical tools to support decision making, forecasting, planning, performance measurement, risk management, optimization. By leveraging these techniques, managers can enhance operational efficiency, improve financial performance, and gain competitive edge in the marketplace. Also, the quantitative techniques provide managers with a systematic and analytic approach to decision making, enabling them to make informed choice based on empirical evidence and logical reasoning. So we have now the role and scope. Now these techniques help in solving complex management problems, optimizing resourcing and enhancing organizational performances. Let's explore in detail about the role and scope of quantitative techniques in management in detail. To begin with, we have the decision making. We have already discussed a lot. Let's just try to comprise it in a better manner. By employing mathematical models, statistical analysis, optimization, managers can evaluate alternatives, risk assessment, identify more optimal course of action, and these techniques enable managers to make rational and objective decisions considering various factors and trade-offs. Also, we have already discussed about the concept of forecasting. Now also talk about the planning part. So what managers can do, they can analyze the historical data, apply statistical forecasting models, make projections about the future trends, demand patterns and market conditions. Now with this will help for formulating of the strategic planning, setting realistic goals and allocating of resources for ensuring of a better plannings. Also, the quantitative techniques facilitate measurement and evaluation of organizational performance. Key performance indicators, balance scorecards, other quantitative metrics helps managers assess the effectiveness of strategies, monitor progress towards the goals, and identify areas for improvement. These can be really helpful for managers for decision makings. Now, when we proceed, financial ratios, cash flow analysis, capital budgeting techniques allow managers to evaluate the financial health, profitability, investment opportunities. Quantitative techniques also aid in assessing and managing risk through techniques such as risk analysis, sensitivity, and Monte Carlo simulation. Quantitative techniques are extensively used in operations management to optimize the process, improve efficiency, minimize cost. We have already learned about it. Techniques such as LPP, that is linear programming problem, queuing, inventory, supply chain optimization, that's a new key area, help managers make informed decisions regarding production planning, inventory control, capacity utilization, and logistics. Now, when we proceed to other areas of project, quality, strategic, HR, or the market research, we observe that, the quantitative techniques are instrumental in marketing research and customer analytics. Surveys, statistical analysis, data mining techniques enable managers to collect and analyze the consumer data, identify market trends, segment customer groups, and understand consumer preferences. These insights support strategic marketing decisions, product development, and customer relationship management. So other areas like project management, quality, strategic, and human resources are certain areas where quantitative techniques play key roles in strategy implementation, allocations, process improvement, quality improvement, identifying the defects, reduction of the variation, enhancing of overall organizational quality, to name a few. Now, we have been learning about the business models and everything. So now let's discuss the types of models in details. We have learned about the areas, we have learned about the limitations, we have learned a lot. So now let's learn about the models where in business or industry these can be applied. So quantitative technique models are extensively used in businesses and industry to address various challenges, optimization of the processes, and make informed decisions. These models employ mathematical and statistical techniques to analyze data, simulate scenarios, and provide quantitative insights. So let's explore some more commonly quantitative technique models in business and industry. To begin with, we have linear programming, or the LPP model, which is widely used for the optimization technique. Now this is the key area. This is the optimization techniques of business and modeling. This basically involves formulation of the mathematical models, which you will also learn in your upcoming sessions, to optimize resource allocation, production planning, inventory management, transportation, logistics, etc. LPP aims to maximize or minimize the objective function subject to constraints represented by linear equations or inequalities. So, in the upcoming tutorials, you will also understand that what exactly is your linear programming model. We will also learn how to make it and implement for any kind of business problem. Next, we have the decision tree. So decision tree model assists in analyzing of the decision making scenarios for multiple possible outcomes. It acts like something that we have a tree, so it has multiple options that are coming, right? And it has nodes. Models utilize a tree-like structure where each node represents a decision point, so it can, this kind of structure that can be there. Branches represents the outcomes. Decision models helps, with this kind of a structure, it can help managers evaluate alternatives. So we have alternative course of action, and we have problems. We can have accessing of the risk, estimation of the expected value for different courses. Then your forecasting depending on time series. So it is totally dependent on time. Time forecasting model analyze historical data to predict future values of a variable. These models are commonly used in sales forecasting, demand planning, and the financial analysis. So forecasting with reference to the time models. Simulation we have already learned. They are actually computer based models, so I'll just quickly go through them. It actually helps managers to simulate different scenarios. Now this is actually used when we have different scenarios being possible. Now scenarios access to impact of the changes, evaluate, and performance of the complex systems. Now forecasting model, it not only takes only the time, it also takes about different version. It utilizes, we have seasonal modelings also. Now historical data also, it uses the statistical techniques also to predict the future values. These models are used for demand forecasting, sales, market analysis, and financial plannings also. Okay. Fine. So next we have the optimization model, as I refer to this term initially in this slide. So optimization model, what exactly is optimization? Optimization is actually to find the best solution, right? So when I say the best solution, it is by either maximizing or minimizing. Minimizing what? The objective. जो मेरा objective है, the area, जो मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा मेरा एक goal है to seek whether I have to maximize the profit or to minimize the time, this is my objective function. और उसके लिए मेरे पास कुछ constraints होंगी, कुछ restriction होंगी, right? So we have certain constraints, we have certain restrictions. So उसको हम लोग अपना implementation करते हैं and we find the best solution. So these models can be used for supply chain optimization, production planning, scheduling, resource allocation, linear programming, integer, non-linear. These are actually used for optimization and the decision making. Next we have the data mining model. They analyze the large data sets to discover. और जैसे हमने पहले बात की थी, they are talking about the hidden patterns. So we have hidden patterns, we have relationships and insight. And these models employ techniques such as clustering, classification, association of analysis, predictive modeling, and we all know that more and more of big data is coming, so data mining model is actually having a huge requirement these days. Okay, now these models help for the market segmentation, customer analytics, and fraud detection and recommendation systems also. Queuing model, as I say, the name says queuing. Queuing means line lagana, means waiting lines, or for the optimization of service level or the resource utilization. So this one is actually helping for better service facilities, better assessing of the waiting times and improving of the customer satisfaction. Now when we come to the last two, the Six Sigma model. The Six Sigma is basically a data driven approach used for the improvement of the quality, right? So this is for the quality management and actually helps in reduction of the defects. So iska purpose hai to reduce the defects in the process. So Six Sigma models imply statistical techniques to measure performance, identify the sources of variation, कहाँ से variation हो रहा है, कैसे implement कर सकते हैं process की improvements को. DMAC approach that is used by Six Sigma model, which says D refers to define, measure, I'm writing it for you, it is define, measure, then we have analyze, then we have improve, and finally we have the control. So these are the the tool that is working on Six Sigma framework. Okay. Finally, we have the Markovian chain model. It is used for analyzing the systems with the probability transitions between the states. That what probability this can happen, right? So they are employed for assumptions areas like inventory management, maintenance, reliability, and they help in accessing of the probability of being in a particular state at a given time and predict the future for the system behavior. So I hope that you all must have learned something about the concepts. So really thankful from my side. Happy learning.